Okay, so this is again another video, just me, speaking my mind, trying to talk things, whatever comes to mind. Because I want my mind to flow. I feel like sometimes I feel like I cannot really classify myself, right? Or I cannot really club myself as to what I am in the sense that, can I say that I'm a writer? Can I say that I'm an artist? Or what am I, right? Or let's say I haven't also, haven't stuck with any particular profession as such. But I am, I think, probably a kind of a thinker, or I have a lot of thoughts. So that's why I take these certain opportunities to sort of express myself, express my thoughts, let my thoughts, flow. That's my whole ideal, or that's my whole approach to things. And I feel like if I can do that, if I can be like, um, I don't know what to say exactly, but like, if I can express myself, I think that I will feel a lot lighter. I feel like there is a lot of pent up thoughts from a lot of the years that I've lived or the experiences that I have, and like, a lot of the thoughts are still circling in my head. And I've always tried to think about the best possible way to sort of express myself, but I've been kind of not being able to exactly figure it out, exactly, determine what would be the right way to express myself. So I just speak. I don't care about whether, and I upload. I've been uploading not everything. Not There's a lot also I write, which I have not published or anything. But like I try to write. I mean, they may not make sense. They may not have any relevance whatsoever. But regardless of everything, I try to write because I think that I need to write. Oh, sorry, or speak, or when I can speak, I speak, because I feel like if I do that, I think I will. It's like the whole brain dump concept that a lot of people talk about. It's something similar to that I'm trying to do here. That I'm just letting myself speak, just letting the thoughts flow. I mean, there is a certain coherency probably, and there is, of course, there is coherency, and it's not like I'm just blabbering. These are words. These are understandable, definitive English words that I'm using, and when they come together, I'm sure there's a sort of expression that they possess, and I'm sure that if not entirely efficiently or at 100% speed, but like at least I think up to a great extent, I'm sure that these thoughts are at least trying helping me to express myself, to let myself out. Because I think for a long time, this thinking has been my way of kind of existing, or way of kind of being. So I've become practiced, or should I say, like, I've become habituated with, thinking. So I think that is one thing why, because I think that, there's a lot of flow in the way I speak, like, not flow in the sense of sentence, but I can keep speaking, I can keep flowing, I can keep talking about things. There are a lot of different things that I can talk about. I can talk about my daily schedule, probably. Like, for example, I woke up around, I'm not quite sure, but like I woke up around, I think I woke up once, twice, maybe multiple times. Then I go back to sleep. I keep wondering that, whether or not I had a good sleep or not, or should I sleep more? Because I don't know, like, since a few years now, I tend to stay in a very, I mean, when I was younger, I think, I mean, again, this is just out of like memory or imagination or whatever, because I don't have like absolute proof to verify it, sort of. But I can kind of remember, I think when I was younger, it was like very discreet or very clear cut that, if you're either tired and then you go to sleep, or when you're awake, right? But I feel like, as an adult, it seems like, or as whatever stage I am right now, I mean, it feels like I'm 31 right now, chronologically speaking. I don't know about my biological age, and people talk about biological age and everything. Again, age is not a very singular, like, point. It's not a singular marker. There are a lot of different things going on. Like, for example, someone, may look a little younger, but they may not necessarily. Different organs might be working at different levels. Someone might have really great eyes, but a bad heart, or someone might have a, really good muscle, but something else might be wrong. So there are a lot of things that you can say. So aging is not a very singular thing that happens to a human being. I mean, there are a lot of uh, parameters, or a lot of demarcations, or a lot of, and aspects to aging, which is, it's not a singular unitary thing that happens to a human body or a human being. So that's, again, I think, an important thing to be. So I just want to speak. I just want to speak my mind. I feel like if I speak my mind, eventually there will be a certain direction that it will acquire. So I should not shy away from the fact that my mind wants to speak, or my one mind wants to express, my mind wants to let it out. So I think it's only important that I, as a human being, or I, as a conscious person, as a being, I should facilitate that. And the only way that I can facilitate it is to be with it, right? So because I think that's the whole point of life itself, that you just be with the process, and once you are with the process happens on its own. Yes, there will be faults, there will be failures, there will be points when you have to probably restart again and all that stuff. Everything of all of that stuff is pretty true, that all that stuff is pretty real. But it is also very critical that you be with the process. And you should not worry about, like, oh, will I get stuck or will I get successful? Don't get caught up with the end result or the end goal, because in this point I do really appreciate the one particular Bhagavad Gita slok. I don't know if it's a slok or whatever, but maybe I'll just take it as a quote or something. It says that, don't think about the fruit or don't think about the result, just focus on the work, just do the work. And I think that's pretty sums up everything that we can ever do, or that everything we can ever focus on. I was just a while ago, I was listening to Israel Kamakawiwo'ole, the great Hawaiian musician. His probably that's his most famous song, which is "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," and I listened to it multiple yesterday as well. I was listening to it multiple times, and today too. I think I listened to it a bit, like twice or thrice, maybe. I'm not sure quite. So it's a very stunning, amazing, beautiful song. Simple song, of course. It's a very simple song, very simple. The whole design and everything of the song is very simple, but it holds a lot of. There's a whole lot of gravity to the song, and the life and times of Israel Kamakawiwo'ole, and what he really stood for. The way he represented Hawaiian culture, the land, the people, and how he struggled with his own personal issues, like be the weight. He died pretty early because he was only 38, right? That's relatively an early death if you think about it. So, it makes me pretty intense, emotional, and at the same time, I think the song also celebrates it, especially because I usually listen to the songs on YouTube, and at the end of that one video that is up online on YouTube of that song "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," uh, we can see that there is people are like he gets this, I think, water burial, sea burial, sea funeral, sorry, not a burial but a funeral. I think they like put away his ashes or something like that. Everyone just comes together, and it's a very emotional moment. And but again, people are also celebrating, people are also cheering, which is a very beautiful way to sort of let go of any person, not just people who are famous or legends, but any person. I think life is all about celebration. Life is like a mystery. Of course, there is a hell lot of pain in this life, in this reality. There's a lot of suffering, and you never know what's going to happen to you. And there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of anxiety that individuals suffer on a daily basis. And there's a lot of things that goes on. There are days when you'll be like really happy. There'll be times when you'll be really happy, but again, at the same time, there will also be days. There will also be times when you get a little tired, a little frustrated. There will be times when you lose yourself. There will be times when you meet some incredible accidents or whatever, and you don't know what to really do about it. So all I'm saying is that there's a lot of pressure, a lot of emotional, spiritual, in every way. Like people have pressures that they deal with. So, but again, it's all just a part of the process. And I think music. If we talk about music, if we talk about people like Israel Kamakawiwo'ole, I think there's a lot that we can learn from their lives, the way they conducted themselves. These are beautiful people, in my opinion. The way they have lived their lives, and music is, I think, one of the very. It's a very beautiful thing, in my opinion. Not just music, though. I mean, a lot of other things are there as well. Like, for example, there are books, there is cinema, there is art, a lot of other things. So art always will be relevant, and especially art done by humans. I feel like it'll never necessarily lose. Yes, AI art is on the rise, but then AI is AI, of course. AI, again, I mean, I'm not some kind of an AI denier, or I'm not some kind of a AI hater at all. I'm not. In fact, I use AI a lot on a daily basis. When I see AI as more of as a productivity tool. I would never, like, for example, if I have to write a book, I wouldn't tell AI to write a book. What I would do is, like, probably I would write something down. I would write a draft down, and I would probably tell AI to, like, what do you call it? Like, check the grammar, or like, edit it, proofread it or something. You know. So that's what I would probably do with AI. So I think that is more critical. That is more crucial in my opinion. AI can summarize your books, summarize your text. It can give you key points, things like that. But AI cannot replace human creativity, or AI should not replace human creativity. Because that is what it is. It's a productivity tool. Unfortunately, yes, there are a lot of people, I think, in academia and other places where students are kind of, I guess, blindly using AI in the sense that they just want to get rid of a work, so they just, you know, like they're not inputting anything, they're not inputting their own ideas, but like they're just, letting AI even give them ideas, which can be a death knell to creativity, which is not something that you have to be mindful, obviously. And human intelligence is human intelligence, of course. Probably there will come a point where a lot of the things are being done by AI, like for example science, especially science, I guess, because in science we need accuracy, right? So, but again, even in there, we cannot really like eliminate the role of the human, right? I think one of the most important things that we should do as of now is to try and create a society, try and create a world where humans don't necessarily need to like suffer, right? I mean, like, still today, a lot of people earn money or a lot of people work because, they need to survive for the sheer need of survival. That is to, like just to have food on their table or stuff like that. They need to earn money. And because of that, now that is why people are anxious about AI because they think that, if AI just takes over, no one employs them and they have no food to eat, nothing to eat. And, in a single lifetime, if they just lose their job, lose their everything, how is that going to be? So that is all obviously a very scary situation, and that needs to be mitigated for sure. And I think the most important thing that every one of us should come together to create is a world, is a society where everything is like, there's a proper equality. Again, I was about to say absolute equality, but again, I guess we cannot achieve absolute equality probably because there's someone or the other who maybe, or someone might be able to, there might be things that we probably didn't realize before, but then we realized later on that how, a certain practice, a certain social practice or political practice might be affecting individuals. So what I'm just trying to say here is that, we need to keep course correcting ourselves. That's the whole point here. I mean, we cannot eliminate anything. We cannot eliminate the good. I mean, good and bad is perceptive, like we perceive it, and that's what gives rise to something being good or something being bad. But I think what is more important is for us to practice, is to keep course correcting ourselves, to keep keep check of things. you know and there is no absolute thing. I mean, even when it comes to life, I mean, it's important that we do not think of ourselves in a very absolutist manner. Our life shouldn't be thought of as in a very absolutist sense. We should just let ourselves be. We should just let things flow, and eventually everything will just come into place. Everything will just come to work, and that's how it is. That's how it's always worked out for almost every person in the world out there. That's how it works for every person in the world out there. There is no right or wrong. There's no objective right or wrong in anything. There's a spectrum of right or wrong. That's what I would say. There's relative right or wrong. That's what I would say. And it's not about being, again, I mean, it's not about trying to wear a badge. I mean, I have, from time to time, I've tried to wear the badge of goodness, but I guess that again, I end up doing things probably which take away that from me. And I should have been mindful about certain things. But again, sometimes you realize things only when they're done, like only it's gone. It's only then that you realize certain things, and then you kind of regret or not or whatever. So so I think it's a very complicated affair. There's no straightforward answer to things. But all we can do is like keep moving, keep proceeding, keep progressing, and we can just try to be happy. Happy with whatever we have, happy with whatever the world has to offer, and whatever we can offer to the world. And we shouldn't be caught up with things. We cannot save everything. We cannot save ourselves. That's a very honest, God's honest truth. But again, at the same time, just because we cannot save ourselves doesn't mean that we try to hasten or speed up the process and try to kill ourselves or whatever. Like that's also not true. That's also not done. So we have to just go with the flow. We just have to go with the process. We just whatever the process demands from us, whatever the flow demands from us, is what we should appreciate, and we should just let it be. Because I think, though, I believe in the process of Wu Wei, because I feel like you just go with the process, or you go with the flow, and that's how you get defined. That's how you get engaged with things. And see, there are things which probably you may not be interested in doing. There might be things which are you do not tend to gravitate towards. That's totally fine. But at the same time, what I feel is that you have to let yourself flow, and when you let yourself flow, in whatever process, you move out of your way. That's the whole point. When you move out of your way, you enter into a zone of flow, and you perform a lot better than you maybe would have performed otherwise. So and you enjoy the process more. I think when you are in a state of flow, you tend to enjoy the process much more as compared to, let's say, when you feel like, oh, I'm being forced into this, or I don't really like it, but I have to do it, kind of a mental state. So these are all things. These are all ideas that I think really make a difference. They really make a change to our lives. And I think once we get into it, once we get hold of it, once we get an understanding of these things, I think we will be able to perform better. We'll be able to do things in a way that's much better than previously. So yeah, maybe I'll just end it here right now. I'll come back. I'll maybe speak more about things, about different ideas, about my own personal life and everything. It's fun. It's really fun to sort of speak about my mind. I don't know how many people might be watching this, but that's fine. I'm not here. I'm not really necessarily trying to entertain people. I'm just trying to leave behind some kind of a document that I existed. You know, I mean, of course, YouTube will get over someday soon. I mean, to a point where, in one way or the other, YouTube will be gone. Everything will be gone. But yeah, this is just my sort of innate sort of desire to work, to act, to perform. You know, I think it's only human to have this tendency to work, to act, to react. That's a human tendency, and it's fine. It's okay to have that tendency within yourself, to let yourself flow. So yeah, so that's it. Goodbye.